Okay everyone, so here is our Powercenter 1000 and the Sentron COM devices demo kit. On the left we've got the Powercenter 1000 being powered by an RCBO there. On the Powercenter 1000 you can connect via Bluetooth or via Modbus TCP with the Ethernet port on the bottom. Then the next devices we have here, we've got a MCB and an MCB AFDD, both comms capable, as you can see there by the flashing indication lights. Again, powered by an RCBO for the sake of the demo kit. And then lastly, we've got the 5ST3 comms capable auxiliary and fault indication switch. So, what do the lights mean on each of these devices? Because this will help us with the rest of the demonstration to understand what's going on. So the speed at which the comms light is flashing there is saying that it's looking for a Bluetooth device to connect to. It will continue to do this until it manages to get a connection with any one of the comms capable MCBs, AFDDs. And the act light is saying that it's active, there's no issues with the device, and it's ready to pair. When you look at the MCB, so the one on the left, it only has one flashing light, and that's just saying that it's waiting to be paired with a Powercenter 1000. When you look at the AFDD MCB, it has two lights. The one on the left indicates the status of the AFDD itself rather than the comms function. That LED is reserved for the comms on the right. And again, similarly with the AFDD and MCB, there's a slow pulsing light saying that it's ready to pair to a Powercenter 1000. Okay, so let's have a look and see how we can pair these up. Okay, so all our devices are sat ready waiting to pair. The Powercenter 1000, the MCB, the AFDD MCB, and the comms capable auxiliary switch are all flashing ready for a pairing. So in order to pair them and configure them together, we need to download the Sentron Powerconfig Mobile App. So this app is available free of charge. It's available on the iOS and Android app stores. There are some subtle differences in terms of the user interface between the two different phone types, but essentially the instructions are still the same. So I'm just going to go to the App Store here, download Sentron Powerconfig. It's there, I've already searched it. And hopefully that download shouldn't take too long. Okay, so there's the app downloaded. Let's just open that up. So we're greeted with a sort of start screen here, just giving you some basic steps on how to get started configuring your devices together. Okay, so we'll click the start button. So first of all, it's going to ask us for some permissions. The first one here is to allow the device, or the app, to connect to your local area network. So that's your Wi-Fi. If you're looking to add devices through that route. For today, we're interested in the Bluetooth route, so we're going to accept that now. Okay, so that's those permissions allowed. So there's no devices obviously to start with. We need to add those in to be able to start configuring them. So if we press add devices down here, it gives us the options here. Obviously we're going through the Bluetooth route, so let's select that. Okay, so now it's starting to look for those devices, and if you just notice then there's a little pop-up at the bottom of the screen saying to make sure that your device is in a blinking mode. So that's the mode where it's basically looking for a device to connect with. So I'm just going to press the Bluetooth button on the front of the Powercenter 1000 now, and that changes the flashing speed of the light to a bit quicker to let you know that it's searching. And as you can see here, it's popped up in the screen here. So it's asking now for access to the camera, because in order to start the pairing, you have to scan the RF code which is printed on front of the device. So just give that access. There's the code there. It shows green when it's successfully found it. So we just click scan. And then it's asking for a level of security here to add the device So it's asking for a pin which is printed on the left hand side of the Powercenter 1000. And this one is 797416. Click pair. Okay, so it's paired with that now. You can click it, and we've added the Powercenter 1000 into our My Devices screen. So that's now connected via Bluetooth, and at this point we can start to add our MCBs and AFDDs. So we click on the 0 there, 0 indicating how many devices we have connected, and we go through the same process again. So we add device, again scan. However, this is slightly different here. So what you have to do is turn the device off if it's already on, in order to be able to scan the code. Select that code there, it's trying to get that other one. Then it comes up with some settings here which you can adjust if you need to. So you can change the name of the device to whatever circuit it is you're trying to connect this up to. It might be a lighting circuit, it might be a socket circuit. So we're just going to go with the standard settings for now for this demonstration. So I'll add that in there. So it's showing that there's no address sign yet. This is over a Bluetooth network, so it has its own individual addresses from 1 through to 24 being the maximum number of devices that can connect to the Powercenter. So I'm just going to go through and add the other devices on. Switch that back on. Scan that one. Add it. Switch it back on. So what's happened in the background here now is we lost power to the Powercenter 1000 because the AFDD was feeding the supply to that Powercenter 1000. Just for the sake of this demonstration, you'll see later a small value for the measured value which the AFDD can pick up. Right, lastly, let's add the auxiliary switch. No need to switch it off here. And again, add that as it is. Okay, so we've got all those set up and half paired. We now need to complete the pairing to the Powercenter 1000. So we swipe left. Okay, so it's starting to pair. We can view the status of that. Right, saying it's pairing in progress, and when it's completed it should say connected with green tick. Should just take a couple of seconds here. There we go. Okay, now that's given that an address of 1, and it should go through numerically giving it 1, 2, 3 and so on. And we'll just do the same for each of the other devices. So same as the MCB, just waiting to pair. Again, yep, pairing in progress and should connect in just a second. If it's having some difficulty connecting because of the radio frequency, it will probably show this connecting symbol, but should eventually turn to a green tick once it's ready. There we go. Lastly, pair with the auxiliary switch and fault trip indicator. Okay. Same as the previous two devices, just wait for that to pair. There we go. So that's all the devices connected now, and the status lights on Powercenter and the AFDD, MCB and MCB, as well as the auxiliary switch, have all turned to a solid green light now, showing that there's a Bluetooth connection and that you've paired together all the devices with the Powercenter 1000. So now that we're online with these devices, obviously if you're doing this in real life outside of a demonstration, you'd probably have some circuit names for each of these devices. And once it's been active for some time, you can come back and have a look at the online values for each of these devices. So there's our COM MCB. That is currently, as I mentioned before, powering the Powercenter 1000. So there's a small amount of current being drawn there. And from this overview page, you can view a vast variety of different measured values. As I mentioned earlier, these are capable of basic energy monitoring, so you can monitor the current, the voltage, how much power is being consumed. Also, you can view device temperature, something that might be useful for areas where you've got an ambient temperature issue, per se. And within that, you can also go to the parameters page, and this can give you the basic information and show you a status between what is actually loaded into the device and what is in the project. But what I want to draw your attention to here is the alarm settings that you can enable. So currently they're all disabled as default, and you can turn these on as and when necessary. You can enable alarms as to how many operating hours have the device has done under load, operating hours in general, how many times the device has been operated, how many times it's tripped under different conditions, and thresholds, alarms on temperature and current, and so on. There's a lot of information that you can view here. So that pretty much wraps it up. It's quite a simple pairing configuration. Hope you found that useful and interesting. Thanks for listening and watching.
Siemens, ingenuity for life.